Today we're going to discuss how to build a union query, what a union query is, and why you would ever want to do one. Alrighty, so I've called up my database here, and my database is set up so that I have all the data loaded here. So I've already been through these buttons where I've built my data sets and I've done the analysis data, but I want to show you that in the process of putting that data together, I had to use a variety of queries. I'm going to go ahead and show you that the two tables that I want to add together are this and this one. So when I double click on this one, it has, 12,000 records. When I open this one, it has another, should be about 12,000 records. As soon as it gets them all, there we go, 13,000 records, just over 13. So the total combined record set here is, about in the 25,000, 26,000 range. And the problem is I really don't need to have a permanent data set out of this. Now, realistically, a union query is putting two sets of data together that are exactly alike. You'll notice that both of these tables have the exact same layout. In fact, if I double click the other one, you'll see the layout really doesn't change, just the data changed underneath. So the first requirement for a union query is the data has to be the same in respect to the field names, the field lengths, and the field types. If you meet all of those requirements, you can build a union query out of two data sets. So I have a data set that I need to build, and I'm going to build it with a union query because I really only need it to be temporary. I don't need to build a data set that has any sort of permanence at all. I need to extract information from it, load another table with it, and once it's done loading that table, I don't care that the data exists. So I really don't want the overhead of combining these two data sets into one table by creating a make table query and then appending the other set of data to it, thus creating the same effect as a union query. I'm just going to go straight to creating a union query, put them together, and away we go. Now, in order to do this, the main command that you use is called union, okay? So now the way I have always done it, and frankly, if you're really good at writing, SQL or Access SQL or, SQL Server SQL, any one of those, if you're really good at writing it out, that's fine. I tend to cheat. And the way I cheat is I'll take one of my tables here, I'll go over here to create, and I'll query design it. I'll throw this in here, and I will double click up here, and I will go ahead and add all those fields. Now, what I do then is what I need from this is I need the SQL from it, the SQL code. So I'll go up here to view, and I'll go to my SQL view here. And there I have the SQL all written out for me. It's a simple select query. Don't need to be any more exotic than that. If there were criteria, we could add that criteria. Any sort of information there that I needed to tweeze out of the data if I so needed to. So I could have some criteria, but in this case I don't. So what I'll do is I'll do that for both of the tables. I'll create this SQL, and then I'll copy it to a clipboard or a text file or something just to keep it for a moment. I'll get the SQL from the other one, and then I'll come back here and I'll create a new query. So let's go ahead and create a new query. I'll go ahead and go to query design again, but I'll put it immediately in SQL view, and then I would copy the SQL from the first one, put the word union between them, and to the second one. Now, I'm not actually doing it on screen because I can just go down here and I could open this one in design view and show you that all it is the copy of the SQL from the first one, the word union, and then the SQL from the second. And it's that simple to create a union query. Now, like I said, the benefit of creating a union query is that it's quick, it's easy, it saves space, it saves time overhead in creating a table, appending to a table, deleting the old data out so you can reload it with new data. If your data is at all dynamic, you just don't need to spend that amount of time to build a data set in that way. So this one, I just build it with a quick union query. Now, do remember the things that you have to have with it. One, the union query has to be built of two tables that are identical in every aspect. Identical in the field names, field types, the field lengths. It doesn't matter how many records are in each table. All it matters is that when it tries to line up the columns, the fields in the tables, that it has the same name to line up with the same name all the way down to the end of the data set. If you put any criteria in, the criteria doesn't matter. If you make it a totals query of any sort, and you've got the sum of something, you have to have the same sum of whatever in the other table so that those field names match. So, hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do, hit that like button so we can get it out to more people, and please subscribe to the channel, and we'll hope to see you again later. Thanks.